Greetings, class. You have reached the Human K channel. Today, we're going to learn more about the life and work of Urie Bronfenbrenner, who was one of the most important experts in the field of child development. Urie Bronfenbrenner was born on April 29, 1917, in Russia. He grew up to become a well-known psychologist who made important contributions to our understanding of human growth, family studies, and psychology. Bronfenbrenner's first job was as a psychologist in the Army, where he worked for the Office of Strategic Services and the Army Air Corps on different projects. Because of these things, he was able to see for himself how social and environmental factors affect how people grow and change. In 1948, Cornell University offered Bronfenbrenner a chair in human development, family studies, and psychology because of how smart he was. He jumped at the chance to do more research and teach the next generation of researchers. What really sets Bronfenbrenner apart is his desire to bridge the gap between child development studies and policy. He was sure that improving the lives of children and families required a deep understanding of the relationship between study and policy. Bronfenbrenner supported the idea that the best way to study child development is to do it in the places where children live, learn, and grow. He stressed how important it is to think about the larger ecological processes that affect how children grow up. Now, we're going to delve into the bioecological model of human development. This model, proposed by Bronfenbrenner, provides us with a comprehensive framework to understand the various factors that influence a person's development. Let's explore some key aspects of this model together. First and foremost, children's development is the outcome of proximal processes. These processes involve the active engagement of children in increasingly complex interactions with people, objects, and symbols in their immediate environments. These environments, referred to as microsystem contexts, include settings such as families, neighborhoods, daycare centers, schools, and playgrounds. It is within these microsystem contexts that crucial mechanisms for human development, known as proximal processes, take place. As we examine the interplay of systems and settings in the bioecological model, we encounter the concept of the mesosystem. The mesosystem comprises the linkages and processes that occur between two or more settings containing the developing person. These interactions extend beyond the boundaries of a single setting, incorporating relationships and activities between settings such as home and school. The mesosystem can influence a person's developmental potential by facilitating or inhibiting trust, positive orientation, consensus on goals, and a balance of power. Moving outward in the bioecological model, we encounter the exosystem. An exosystem refers to the linkages and processes between settings that indirectly impact the immediate setting in which the developing person lives. For instance, even though a child does not directly experience a parent's workplace, it can still have an impact on family dynamics, which in turn affects a child's development. Understanding the exosystem requires establishing connections between events in external settings and processes within the microsystem. Lastly, we reach the macrosystem, which represents the overarching patterns of micro, meso, and exosystems within a given culture or subculture. The macrosystem encompasses belief systems, knowledge, resources, customs, lifestyles, laws, and public policies. It incorporates the cultural tools and frameworks that shape individuals' understanding of challenges, their sense of self, and their strategies for action. Now, it's important to note that the bioecological model acknowledges the influence of context and settings on human development. Factors such as household socioeconomic status, neighborhood characteristics, and school environments play significant roles in shaping the quality, frequency, and intensity of proximal processes. For instance, studies have explored the impact of household poverty on child development, considering factors ranging from prenatal care to cognitive stimulation, parenting styles, and teacher quality. Furthermore, the bioecological model recognizes that the impact of deprivation varies depending on its duration and the life stage of the developing person. A temporary drop in socioeconomic status during a crisis, for example, may have different long-term implications depending on the child's age. To better understand the bioecological model, we must also acknowledge the role of experience. While influenced by individual personalities, experiences are embedded in local culture and customs. Recognizing the cultural frameworks and narratives that shape relationships and processes within and between settings is crucial for understanding factors that strengthen or weaken a person's resilience. Now, we'll talk about some problems with the bioecological model that Bronfenbrenner came up with. This model is helpful for understanding how people grow and change, but it has been criticized for putting too much stress on the biological and cognitive parts of development while ignoring the social and emotional parts. Critics say that a more complete view of human development should focus on all three domains. To solve this problem, a different ecological model called the Integrated Ecological Systems Framework has been suggested. This model looks at things from a larger point of view and is based on cognitive, biological, and social-emotional factors. Let's look at this system in more depth. 5 rings inside each other make up the Integrated Ecological Systems Framework. The cognitive, biological, and social-emotional factors that affect human growth are shown in the middle circle. As we move outward, we come to the microsystem, which is made up of places like school, friends, recreation centers, social and neighborhood groups, and our own families. The next circle, which is the mesosystem, looks at how the parts of the microsystem communicate with each other. In the next circle, you'll find the exosystem, which is made up of places like neighbors, social services, legal services, health services, schooling, the media, and more. Lastly, the biggest circle is the macrosystem, which shows how the culture thinks and acts as a whole. All of these rings are wrapped up in the chronosystem, which shows how things change over time in terms of social history, the environment, life changes, and the overall direction of change. Developmentalists often talk about the 3 areas of growth as overlapping circles. These circles show how all of a person's events are linked together. Let's take a quick look at these areas. Biological processes. This area is about the changes that happen to a person's body as they grow and develop. It includes things like growth, development, and changes in how the body works. Cognitive processes. In this section, we look at how a person's thought, reasoning, ability to solve problems, and intelligence change over time. Cognitive growth includes things like perceiving, paying attention, remembering, learning a language, and getting better at thinking. Socio-emotional processes. This area looks at how a person's relationships with others, feelings, and personality change over time, as well as how their social environments affect their growth. It includes things like being able to control your emotions, having good social skills, figuring out who you are, and how your family, friends, and society affect your social and emotional growth. The Integrated Ecological Systems Framework gives a more complete picture of human development by taking into account how these 3 areas are linked. It's important to remember that both the Bioecological Model and the Integrated Ecological Systems Framework give us important information about how people grow and change. As researchers and scholars, we need to keep looking into and improving these models to learn more about how complex human growth is in all of its areas. That's all we're going to talk about today. I think you should learn more about these models and what they mean for study and practice. I appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to our next class.